Dimitri's just a character.
Hey guys, it's Mongolian Mindset, and today we got the whole gang with us. We got one of our loyal Discord members, Ed. He wants to find out his personality type. So we're gonna see if he's actually the type that he claims to be, or if not. It's gonna be a fun one. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is Ed. I'm 32 years old. I live in the Detroit area. I play music. I'm interested in a lot of academic subjects like physics and psychology, of course, and various other things like that. That's about it. I mean, I kind of got, I can be pretty all over the place, but that's pretty much the main. And yeah, I'd say that pretty much covers my primary interest.
Okay. What do you think is the easiest way to find your personality type? Like in general, just spicing it up here.
So my introduction to all of this was back in 2013. I had a couple of friends. One of them was an ex-girlfriend who I'm pretty sure is an ENFJ. She thought she was. She now has her PhD in psychology and she was obsessed with it. And the other one was, I think he was an INFP. He was one of my best friends at the time. And they both introduced me to this, and I really didn't care enough back then. I had other things that was preferring to focus on. I was
Mhm.
studying other kinds of books and what have you, but they both told me that they thought I was an INTP. And so I just kind of was like, okay, whatever. Until 2018, when I went through a really harsh breakup with somebody who I believe was an ENTJ. And that compelled me, galvanized me to look more into that kind of thing again. And then I saw C.S. Joseph's, and I'd been studying socionics with some degree of rigor beforehand, but nowhere near as much as I did when I stumbled upon just purely by coincidence. You remember his first video when he's just walking around like I am now, and I think it was the first one he ever uploaded. I caught that right when he uploaded it somehow. So it's almost this perfect synchronicity. It was weird. So then I studied that a lot, and so I internalized all of his system, and I still came to that conclusion that I probably am an INTP.
Mhm.
But um, what was the exact question again? Forgive me.
What do you think are the best methods to find your personality type? Like,
I think it takes time. I think a lot of people kind of, how should I put this? I think a lot of times people get cocky with it and they think it's someone they've just met can be easily typed. But I think that it's ideal to get to know somebody in probably for a few months before you can really make and I know, this is used in a lot of situations where you have to make snap decisions about, and so I understand, but I really think it's myopic to think that you can just, sorry, car driving by. I think it's kind of myopic to, sorry, I get distracted by noise easily. I think it's silly to think that you can just type someone that fast. So I think you'd want to get to know somebody for a few months
mhm.
and not just over text. I don't think, I think it's kind of infeasible to try to type somebody by their face. It's kind of like, phrenology. It's kind of silly to me, but maybe I'm wrong. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think the big error with typing people is short clips. It's bad, and I think um, text is also bad. Like, I think that's also bad. Like, you just gotta leave that like that text shit. Well, you can see some things over like a span of time. You kind of see them, but like overall, it's like you just kind of like text. It's like it's so much better just to have somebody come in for an interview. You can actually find the actual personality type. Um, and
makes
and
sense.
the funny thing is you'll see like some people in the Discord around here, he'll just throw like something out on somebody. Like, dude, you don't even know that. Like, he'll be like saying somebody got TI demon. I'm like, bro, that dude's TI hero. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, bro, you making no fucking sense. Um,
Yeah.
just like randomly just like try to throw like I guess they kind of use it in a derogatory way or something. It's kind of funny. Um,
Yeah, I don't know what to make of him. It's been interesting trying to figure it out. I'm still flummoxed.
yeah. So what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for, in some shape or form, ameliorating the human condition through both art and science, maybe engineering, but I want to leave behind art that helps people overcome whatever particular adverse situations they're going through, kind of help them relate to my experiences through the lyrics and, melodic and rhythmic structures, and then um or just, help them have fun, but also just kind of help them, anybody who's gone through pain, kind of just help them overcome that. And then also I would like to sorry, just wiping snow off this bench. There we go. And then in addition to that, on the STEM side of things, I would like to later in life go back to college, study physics, and maybe get into how should I put this? Um, I mean, if I'm really going to be completely honest, and this is probably, very far-fetched because, it's probably a pipe dream, but I'd like to kind of have a hand in inventing something like teleportation or just something like that, just interstellar travel, or, I just want to help humanity get past this, both emotionally and logistically, improve as a species, both by helping them through the art I make, help them overcome any tough situation that they're facing, and through, fingers crossed, later in life, maybe when I'm like in my mid 40s, all throughout the rest of my life, help design some new technology that helps us also have an easier time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Um, hmm. I'm going blank. Thomas, you got anything?
Yeah, sure. What's a skill you think everybody should have?
Tact. That might not obviously jump out at people as a skill, but just the ability to empathy, I guess. Yeah, I think that's a skill everybody should have, and I'm often not the best at that. I try, but as you've seen, I'm sure every once in a while I get a little bit impatient and I can lash out at people. But I usually only do that after I've given someone, dozens of chances, and then they're just pissing me off and pissing me off and pissing me off, and then. But another skill I think everyone should have is I mean, they're innumerable, but if I had to just name one, uh,
Okay. Okay. So you say you're gonna go back for physics. What attracts you to physics?
just the possible ways that just watching sci-fi growing up and watching, documentaries about the possibilities that exist for it's less that I just want to, study it for its own sake, you know what I mean? I don't really want to be like a pure mathematician or something. And in the same way, I don't want to be I don't necessarily want to be a research physicist. I'd probably actually want to be an engineer, but I'd have to have a deep understanding of higher math and physics in order to do that. I just think that the more we understand as a species, the more that we can build new things to help us, prosper.
Yeah. What do you think is something that you struggle with?
Good question. I would say anger management sometimes. It's not the biggest issue I have, but sometimes when I get stressed out, I turn to remedies that are not the greatest. I've had addiction issues in the past and I've been greatly improving, but occasionally I'll sometimes reach for, a bottle or, a joint to deal with, you know, daily stresses. Also, I can kind of get stuck in my head sometimes to the point of being unaware of things that other people think I should find obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've worked some manual labor jobs and I'm total ass at them because I just prefer to stay in my head most of the time. I mean, obviously, there are some things I have to get out of my head for, but if it's, and I'm not sure if that has more to do with me preferring to be in my head or if it's more of like a not wanting to be told what to do. You know what I mean? Because I think that some of the reasons that I find it hard to get out of my head is because the task that I'm being expected to do is just boring to me. And so I kind of retreat into my head for that reason. And then other times when I'm doing something that I actually do enjoy and wanted to partake in the first place, and I'm not just doing it for a paycheck, some provisional just job, then I can kind of, you know what I mean? Like when I'm hanging out with friends or something like that, like I can get out of my head. But so it's kind of tough to.
Okay. I want to ask you a question here. Do you see yourself more as a slave to possibilities or a slave to logic?
Oh man, I really don't know. I really don't know. Um, Nothing's jumping out at me. It, I really don't know. It's kind of situation dependent.
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself endlessly chasing possibilities?
Yeah, but I think that I'm pretty responsible with that. I don't think, I mean, in the past, yeah, I've been very pedal to the metal with that kind of thing. And I've, gone on all kinds of tangents and looked into like all kinds of stuff like mysticism and, just for shits and giggles. Pardon my, I can swear on here, right?
Yeah, you do whatever you want, man.
Okay, cool. But I mean, you won't catch me. I don't know, probably logic, but I know what that question's supposed to, you know what I mean? It kind of,
You
are
know
you
what
any
you mean.
hero? Or, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
is your any higher than your TI is kind of what you're trying to probe at right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
like that, the awareness of that kind of makes it hard to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, because I want to say logic, but I already know what the purpose of the question was. So it kind of,
It's all good, man. It's
full
good.
disclosure, that's the only question that I've seen through. Everything else has been, I've been able to.
I mean, that was pretty blatant there, but what do you think is something that puts you in a bad state?
Rejection, doing some, doing something that inadvertently hurts people that I care about. Um, Not getting things done that I sought out to get done in a timely fashion, whether it's my fault or somebody else's fault or some combination thereof. Yeah.
Okay.
What does rejection mean to you? Like, can you give an example?
Not being liked by other people, or being like, you know what I mean? It could be somebody, the person could like me, but I let them down, and they, they yell at me, and I feel like I'm, getting chastised, and I'm like, ooh, makes me very uneasy, and I get very nervous. And even when it's my fault, and I know it is, yeah.
Gotcha.
What's something you want to work on by yourself?
I am working on a lot of things by myself right now. But are you asking what is something that I would like to work on that I'm not currently working on?
What's like, biggest concern for you? Like, this is something I want to work on, the number one thing. Like, this is what I'm working on. What do you think that is for yourself?
Getting my finances in order. I've been making progress, but it's just been taking too long. I've been stubborn and kind of irresponsible with them, rather. I moved out twice and then moved back to my parents' house, and I'm moving back out again for the third time, and I've just mismanaged my money because I just, various reasons, but just, yeah, discipline, I guess you could say. Because if you wanted to abstract it further, it's not just finances, but discipline leads to financial security. So I want to be more disciplined.
Perfect. That just hit the nail on the head for it there. Tom, you got anything? Shelly?
What are some behaviors that anger you?
Hmm. People bullying others without first being provoked, just picking on people for the sake of it. What else? For any reason, it could be because of the way they look, or but just any kind of bullying like that. I mean, I'm all for retaliating if somebody gets on, starts to come at you first, and you can kind of defend yourself. You got to be careful, obviously, but yeah, people just start that. Behaviors that anger me. Some of the behaviors that anger me are some of the ones that I'm guilty of committing, which I think is pretty typical, but I'd say, not committing to things, seeming kind of which harkens back to the discipline thing, but being kind of wishy-washy. Um hmm. Just needless aggression.
Okay.
Um
Don't worry about it. That's good. Did you play any sports?
I did when I was younger, but only because my parents enrolled me in them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Who knows if I would have done it of my own volition, but I played basketball, baseball, soccer, street hockey, not ice hockey, but I did learn to ski, snowboard, ice skate, skateboard, tennis. I My parents enlisted me in a bunch of different little kid teams, and then I did wrestling ephemerally, but I didn't like it. You know, I grew up kind of watching WWE, and you know, it's like, this is something else. This isn't my thing. This is weird. But
I did
I did that for like a few months and then quit. It was just too weird. And then but yeah, and then I tried to hang out with everybody. I always hated bit of a tangent here, but I always hated cliques. I always tried to surround myself with as diverse an array of people as possible. And so a lot of the jocks that I was friends with growing up introduced me to sports that my parents didn't put me in. Yeah, but yeah, I'd like to get back into something. I'm just not sure what I would do. I'd probably do soccer or something at this point, just for fun and exercise.
Yeah, what was your
Not
favorite?
to take too.
What was your favorite?
Oh boy, it's probably a tie between skateboarding, street hockey, basketball, and soccer.
God damn, that's 4.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. How do you go about learning something new?
I usually just get on the internet, buy textbooks, go to the store, buy textbooks, get on the internet, pirate textbooks, watch YouTube videos, buy online courses. I'm usually pretty self-motivated about that kind of thing. I don't like being in a class. Well, I mean, I like meeting new people, but other than that, I don't think I learn better in a classroom setting. I like to go at my own pace and just kind of digest the information however I can get it.
What's your ideal mate?
More outgoing than me, more assertive than me. I mean, obviously good looking from, subjective, but, to me, somebody that I can accomplish goals with, somebody with similar goals. Because if I'm not even sure that I ever I'm not even sure I believe in monogamy, but if I ever do decide that, oh yeah, I found somebody who I just want to be exclusive with forever, then yeah, we've got to have shared goals, and I think that about covers it.
You say you dated the ENTJ. What was the best and worst parts about that?
The best parts about it were how easily she could pick up on things that I kind of read in between the lines of what I say. Sometimes I can be a little bit cryptic, not intentionally, but other people are like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And I'm like, but even when I was talking about a subject that she didn't quite have as much familiarity with, she could kind of see the gestalt, and and she'd ask me questions about it, and she'd be willing to help me learn, or not. She'd be willing to learn from me about it and actually be very interested in what I had to say. A lot of people hate my rambling. I only really ramble when I'm excited about a subject, but she just loved the way I spoke. I've never had anybody be so enamored of, my linguistic skills before. Also just, she would kind of, this is going to sound weird, but kind of like take control. And, like I wasn't, she wasn't like leading, you know what I mean? She wasn't like domineering, but she, you know what I mean? She knew that I was kind of like an anxious person, and she would, just always be reassuring to me in like the most subtle way, and she just always knew exactly what to do to kind of just be like, non-verbally, just kind of be like, I got you.
Mm-hmm. Worst parts.
We argued about certain things. Whenever she made up her mind about something, she made up her mind about something, and I was so convinced that I was right. But and I'm in but if she would get she got very, very, she would get just, yeah, she had this ability to just change her mind, or not change her mind, like decide that she thought something was true about something, and then there was no convincing her. And so, I mean, because I'm the type of person who will always kind of be willing to accept, well, maybe I missed something. And that's another thing I did like about her is her, how confident she was in that. But then sometimes it would cause trouble because I'd be certain that she was wrong, but I couldn't convince her unless I, actually shoved it in her face, and that's not always, realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of times the ENTJs can be so confident on things that they believe that they're right themselves when it's actually fucking wrong. They are the masters of doing that. Very good. Very good. And that's coming from an ENTJ here. So sometimes, they very close-minded, a lot of times they want an opinion on something and they haven't done the work, which is what I fucking hate. Especially when I run into other ENTJs, they want to give an opinion or something. It's like, bro, you haven't done the work. Shut the fuck up. Like you don't have an opinion here. Just shut up, sit in the back. But they can't do that. They just gotta like chime in or something. It's like, all right, bro. All right. Rush down.
I hear that.
Jay. Thomas, you got anything? Or you want to wrap this up? What are you thinking?
Well, maybe a couple more. What are if you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
All right, this is a good one. Is psychokinesis too ambiguous?
Can you explain that?
Reality warping, change the setting of wherever I am. Not controlling people, but controlling just manipulating matter, I guess. The ability to do that.
Damn.
Just shape the physical world around me instantaneously by thinking it. Knowing whether or not there's life after death, because then I would know whether or not it's worth trying to achieve immortality in this particular quote unquote realm. And then and then the third wish is dependent on the answer to the third wish. That question. If there is like some life after death, and I find that immortality is just a curse or whatever, then I would then it would be, I don't know. Well, you know what? Scratch that. The third wish, no matter what, would just be to have the best relationships possible, friends and romantic, whatever. Just be happy with family and friends, and get over all the problems that I've had with them, and just
Do you find
have a good time.
Do you find it hard to meet new people?
To meet new people?
Mm-hmm.
By that, do you mean, do I find it hard to go out and try to meet new people, or
Both.
do you mean that you find it hard when you meet new people to actually talk to them? Because I usually, when I go out, I've had to, yeah, I can be pretty reserved, and so yeah, I'm not often the person going up to other people and introducing myself, although sometimes I force myself to, and I can be charming when I need to be, but it's draining. It's another thing I liked about that ENTJX. She introduced herself to me and it was like magic.
Yeah.
So what happened with that relationship?
Uh,
Was it
I
sporadic?
screwed up because I was going through a hard time and we got into a big argument over, I'd rather not get too much into the details, but
Okay.
it was a pretty typical kind of thing. It wasn't anything, scandal, it's
See, the thing that people miss with the NT relationships is whenever the relationship goes very well until they have a fight. Once they have a fight, it's hard for the two to reconcile. And they like, to me, I see it as like a fire that burns hot. Like if I'm around another NT, it's like it burns hot. Like we're interestingly like entwined with each other. But when somebody has a fight, then somebody has to suffer the ego and somebody has to admit that they're wrong. And a lot of times, if you're the guy, you might be right and you still have to let them think that they're right. I can only do that so many times.
in that particular situation, I was wrong, but I refused to admit it. And she's just like, she gave me a couple she gave me 3 chances, and then I just was too stubborn to admit I fucked up. And later on, I realized I was wrong, but it was too late.
Yeah, that's what I said. Just that's the NT, man.
I got jealous, kind of. And then I got over the jealousy, but I wouldn't let go of this one little bit of minutia.
Oh, you broke up. Fuck, this is going so well. Guess he lost signal. That's interesting.
Did he?
I think so. This is interesting. It's funny. He thought he's INTP.
Yeah. Nothing new there, Pretty typical.
Like you can't convince me otherwise. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah. No, man, I don't think he's we'll give it a second here. That's interesting. It's the same thing with NTs, man. It says it in that book, People and Patterns, and I've noticed it too. Like NTs, we go good together, but as soon as there's one fight, somebody's got to drop their ego, and it's hard for
Yeah,
NT to drop that ego. It is very hard for NT to drop that ego.
it
And
is.
you could do it one time, could do it 2 times, but you can't keep doing that, motherfucker. Cannot keep doing it.
What, drop the ego?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
before you know it, you're gonna have no respect for yourself. It's like, yeah. And then got to go your own separate ways, baby. Oh my God. You got to
Yeah,
go.
I want to read that book, but I guess I'll do it after we talk to Dario,
Yeah,
get to that book. It sounds like a good book, though. Maybe one of the
really
best
good.
ones that
It's really good
out there,
Yeah, and then I'm getting into this one is Please Understand Me Too. And I got a nice little system I got. I go and like sit in the bathtub and just chill and soak and
Really?
salt and then read like 20, 40 pages. Fucking
In the bathtub.
yeah. I just like
Really?
and I'm like, oh man, this shit's working. And like I'm digesting books quick as fuck.
How do you not get it wet though?
I don't let the water get that high.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But this is
That's
pretty
what I
good.
would be worried about.
People
Huh?
in Patterns was
That's
a
People
good.
and Patterns.
Yeah, it was really good, man. I learned a lot, especially with like the kids and the children and stuff like that. And a lot of stuff makes a lot of sense there. Their relationship compatibility makes a lot of sense. Even like how we deal with our friends and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. He says he's an INFJ, but his book was so easy to read. It almost feels as though it came from a PE user.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, even the experts in typology, like a lot of them are mistyped, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think usually INFJs are pretty cryptic; they're hard to understand.
Yeah, and this book was so easy to read. I actually enjoyed it. It was like read Dario. So Dario book is like fucking just easy to decipher. He got his little corny jokes here and there. His
Really?
child. Yeah, I mean, Dario has his little things here and there, and
Yeah, yeah.
by child in there. Where he has to like show his identity a little bit sometimes. But you see it there. I haven't really got too much into this one. Decode your personality. But I'll probably read up on that going into the interview with Dario.
Is this guy is he like logging back in? Do you know?
I messaged him right now. I think he just lost signal because he's fucking walking around like a fucking
Gotcha.
EMP.
Can't stop moving.
Can't stop moving. Buddy didn't stop moving at all. Like them motherfuckers can't stop moving for shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny he said he's dating the entj. I don't know how he did that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that shit. That's got to be rough. I feel like they're always on top of you.
Yeah. Very high expectations and probably
was
difficult to please.
I would see I have like this other like from a long time ago, like maybe like a year and a half or 2 years ago, an ENTJ, and like one time she was like playing with my face, and I told her like I kind of got like this Russian roulette thing, like I'll let somebody do something once or twice, and then it just comes out and I'm like, yo, don't fucking touch my fucking face. And she was,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I wasn't touching your face. I'm like, shut the fuck up, you lying motherfucker. Like, how can you say you wasn't? It's like immediately she went back into like the most submissive, trying to act like a princess. And I'm like,
Really?
yeah, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, ENTJ with that shit, motherfucker. She just like kept touching my face. I don't really like people touch. Like, I'm not a very like touchy person.
Mm-hmm.
She just kept doing it, and I'm just like, yo,
Well,
stop.
especially getting your face touched. That's like very intimate.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that, and then like sometimes I don't know what it is. Like people touch your face, you get like acne and shit.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
So I like thinking about like a big ass like zit just popping up on my fucking face from where she touched me, and I'm like, yo, stop touching my fucking face. And she kept doing this shit, and then I had to like fucking. You got the one thing with ENTs, you gotta like dial it at 100% to put them back in their place. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't touch my fucking face. And then she's like, oh, you know, like a normal girl would probably get it the first time, but then ENTJs keep doing it till you like fucking got like rear back. Okay. I don't know what he's doing. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and just end this video here.
Should you give
Yeah.
just give your analysis and then end it?
Yeah, man. Sorry, man. You're
No.
an ENTP, bro. You're all over the place walking around like a motherfucker. You talked about being cryptic. That's informative. You were on a progression initiating movement topic so bad that you had to ask me the question again. You didn't even fucking answer it. You want to help anyone go through pain. That's like an FE thing. Inventing teleportation, abstract. Design new technologies, abstract. Again, systematic. Talked about empathy, that's FE. Possibilities that exist, that's NE. Deep understanding, TI. You got into like anger management, that's a little SE demon there, man. And you talked about like you're improving, like a lot, the overall gist and message of everything that you talked about was improving. Well, was it with the finances or the drinking or indulging in different things that you shouldn't be doing, like the weed and the drinking, whatever the fuck. You say you're progressing though, so progression again. You don't like to be told what to do. That's pragmatic. Talk about mysticism, that's abstract. And then one time you got into it about your finances. You're talking about you need to get your finances in order, but you're progressing in that. That's progression again, and that's SI inferior, man. That's your SI inferior coming out. So yeah, we got you as an ENTP, man. Thomas, you got anything you want to say before we go?
I don't think so, man. I mean, yeah, it was pretty clear that he was informative. You know, a lot of tangents. Couldn't stay on topic. Couldn't even remember what the question was. We had to ask us what the question was to try to refocus and get back on track. Couldn't focus. What else? Yeah, off the bat, I definitely noticed informative. Progression was, able to determine that pretty quickly. Couldn't focus, low NI, higher NE, focused on possibilities. Yeah, man. Talking about systems, abstractions, talking about, being able to warp reality, talking about teleporting, wherever the hell else he was talking about. Yeah, pretty clear that he's abstract, informative, initiating, movement, systematic. So yeah, ENTP.
Yeah, and I think he's a 7 social, right?
Yeah.
Social. It sounds about right. 7 social.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's not really, it's not really so much involved with his identity, etc. More about wanting to, I guess, wanting to experience, wanting to help people. So
yeah. All right, guys, man. I'll
Yeah.
see you guys on the next exciting episode. Take it easy, guys.
All right, peace.